What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be talking about the Burning Crusade Classic Anniversary Phase 2 and when I think it actually could be launching, right? We're going on our 6th lockout right now with the Phase 1 raids. That includes Karazhan, Gruul's Lair, and Magtheridon's Lair. Now, it has been said since the beginning of Anniversary that this was going to be a faster-paced Burning Crusade. Most people think that the Burning Crusade is going to be ending sometime around November or December of this year. I personally think it's going to go a little bit further than that, probably into January or February, but who really knows? And I guess once we get that announcement for the release date of Phase 2, we'll be able to figure that out a lot more accurately, right? So there's a couple of different ways this can go. So what we're going to do is switch over to my main screen here, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a walk and talk here in Zangar Marsh, one of my favorite zones in the Burning Crusade. So just to recap what has happened, TBC Classic Anniversary launched on February 5th this year, 2026. The raids opened, meaning Gruul's Lair, Magtheridon's Lair, and Karazhan opened on February 19th, which was a Thursday. Now, personally, I'm speculating that Phase 2 is going to be launching most likely on April 16th. And the reason why I'm saying this is if this is a faster-paced Burning Crusade, April 16th would give us 8 lockouts of Phase 1, right? So roughly 2 months. Now, that definitely makes sense and would line up with how everyone thinks that the Burning Crusade is going. But there's another possibility there as well, right? We can go probably a little bit further than that and maybe get the launch of Phase 2 on April 30th, which would give us 10 lockouts of Phase 1. As for this initial launch of the second phase in TBC, this is where we kind of really don't know anything. Blizzard hasn't talked about it yet or anything like that. I'm sure we're gonna have an announcement coming sometime within the next 2 weeks, I would say. But once we get that information, if it's April 16th and we get 8 lockouts of Phase 1, or if it's April 30th and we get 10 lockouts of Phase 1, then we can kind of accurately predict how the rest of the Burning Crusade Classic Anniversary is going to play out. Now, like I said, my prediction for it is I'm thinking April 16th, right? That's a little bit less than 4 weeks from now. And I think that an 8-week lockout for each phase kind of makes sense if they're trying to speed this up. But if we're going at a more normal pace, or not even a normal pace, just a little bit slower of a pace, then the 10-week lockout would make sense, right? It would give people a lot more time to farm up their BIS, right? Going into this next phase, Phase 2, it's going to be a little bit harder, even if it is post-nerf. It's going to be a little bit harder than Karazhan, Gruul, and Mag, right? Phase 1 in TBC is fairly easy, even if it was pre-nerfed. But moving into this next phase, pre-nerf, Phase 2 definitely would destroy some guilds. And post-nerf, it's still going to be a challenge for a lot of casual players out there. And even good players, you're going to go through the growing pains of learning these new mechanics and things like that. There's some bosses, like Lady Vash and Kel'Thas, that do have some mechanics, and they're big gear checks, and you do need to do everything correctly to down these bosses. So we're going to see a big shift there. I'm assuming that it's also going to be post-nerf. I don't see a world in which they release Phase 1 in post-nerf and then revert that and do pre-nerfed for 2 of the way harder raids coming in Phase 2. I know some people would want that. Me personally, I think I'd rather the post-nerf, to be honest. I think that the difficulty change in just the basic mechanics alone is going to be a lot for a lot of casuals, and anyone who's been playing Anniversary so far knows that there's a lot of new players here, which is a good thing, and we shouldn't hate on that or have any bad vibes from that. Like, having new players in the game is great. It's frustrating for a lot of veterans who are sitting here wiping on Magtheridon's Lair cube clicking because someone's new, but at the same time, I always preach this about Classic, that if we're not pulling new people into this game, and if we're not making an environment where new players feel welcome to try this game out and fall in love with it just the same way you did all those years ago, the game will never grow. The game will stagnate and eventually get smaller and smaller and smaller. So you need new players. You need casual players. It's very important, in my opinion, for the overall health of Classic, moving into the future, right? When we eventually get a Classic Plus, if that's a thing, Blizzard needs to find a way that, both new players, veteran players, sweaty players, everyone can kind of come together and enjoy the experience all together as one. And I think that that's very important. Classic does need to have the ability to grow Because here's the thing, if you really think about what we've been doing for the past few years, you know, we're going to keep going down the same rabbit hole of vanilla TBC Wrath, and that'll recycle, and we could do that again and again. And yes, it will always have people playing it, but I can almost guarantee you it won't grow. And within a few years of repeating that cycle, you're going to see less and less players every single time, right? You'll always have a solid player base that loves the original trilogy, just like myself. But I do think it's really, really important for Classic to have the ability to pull new players in and grow as a game. I think overall right now, Classic's in a great spot. You know, a lot of us are sitting here thinking we're going to get that Classic Plus announcement, you know, probably at BlizzCon this year. That's what I'm thinking. And if we do, that's amazing, right? I think it's going to be a big thing for Classic. But right now we're in the Burning Crusade, and let's enjoy it. And I'm excited for them to actually give us a release date for the next phase, because then, like I said, we could predict how the rest of the phases are going to come out. We're going to know the exact cadence, you know, not the exact, I shouldn't say exact, but we're going to know roughly the pacing at which they want to do this Burning Crusade. And I think that's very important. It allows people to have adequate time prepping for the next phases when they're coming out and things like that. So it is kind of important for people to know when these next phases are going to be dropping, right? But again, my prediction is April 16th. I do want to know what you guys think. When do you think Phase 2 is going to be dropping? And are you ready for it, right? What are you doing to prepare for it? I'd love to know down in the comments. I love getting into conversations with you guys. A lot of people right now are working on their Eye attunement, their Serpent Shrine Cavern attunements. So if that's something you guys haven't started and you really don't know where to begin with prepping for the next phase, that is definitely where to start, right? The Eye attunement for Tempest Keep, it's a very, very long attunement chain. You got to do a bunch of heroics, a bunch of quests. So definitely get that started. The Serpent Shrine Cavern attunement is way quicker, but definitely get that started as well. A lot of people are doing that stuff right now. So you shouldn't have much of a problem, you know, finding groups to get that stuff done. And aside from that, you're going to want to be stockpiling gold. We don't really know how important the Nature and Frost gear is going to be for our tanks moving into this next phase yet. Because if the raids are pre-nerfed, it's extremely important. If the raids are post-nerfed, it is a lot less important. Arguably might not be needed much at all, though. So we got to kind of wait and see where we're at with that. And yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying myself. I am trying to get Quag's Eye on my Warlock every single day in Slave Pen's Heroic. The item just doesn't exist, so I don't know what else to do. But anyways, let me know how you guys feel about all this. Are you excited for Phase 2? Are you ready for Phase 2? Are you raid logging? Are you prepping? Let me know everything down in the comments below. And yeah, follow me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/hammerdance. I stream Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and sometimes we do a nice little bonus stream on Saturdays, like last night. That was a lot of fun. And subscribe to the channel if you guys love Classic WoW just as much as me. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.